I feel like these dating apps have become so much worse. Like, me and my friends, especially my blind friends, we've been trying to date as well, just like everybody else. But I think that there's so many issues that come into play when it comes to navigating the dating world and the dating scene and the dating apps. Like, the whole process is literally like difficult. And every time I talk about dating with my sighted friends or sighted family, I often get the, oh, go on a dating app, it'll be easier for you that way instead of trying to meet someone in person. And I get it, and I get that this has become like the new norm for a lot of people, but I personally feel like oftentimes just the general sighted, able-bodied society doesn't think about how inaccessible these things can be for blind and low vision individuals. If you are someone that has had great experiences on specific apps, definitely let me know down below. But I just feel like either you have to rely on a sighted person to even help you to set up your dating profile, to help you to navigate the dating app. And I think that in all, it's okay if you have someone that you trust and that you know is gonna like point out the things that you are looking for and trying to find. But I think it's harder when you're an independent person that's really trying to do more things independently and not always have to rely on a sighted person to help you navigate specific things. And so I feel like it's become worse, and accessibility is never at the forefront of half of these apps, because as my friends and I start navigating more of these profiles and apps and things, we come across so many issues where it's like, oh, I can't respond to this person yet because for some reason the stupid app doesn't allow me to because of my screen reader or whatever. So then you have to wait for a sighted person, which, you know, you might not always be around a sighted person. Like, what if you're living alone and you're trying to date? It's gonna be harder unless you have a friend that you can say, hey, why don't you come over and help me with this? Which is cool. I think that's perfectly fine. But I just feel like when you are living in such a big part of the world, like, you know, just New York or whatever, I feel like people always say, oh, it's horrible dating in New York. It's never a fun experience. But then you come to LA and people are like, dating out here is shit and it sucks and just don't do it. And I'm like, which one is it? Like, do I have to go somewhere else to do this? Like, fly me to the UK or somewhere to let me find people, because I feel like this is the new norm, you know, getting on the dating app. A lot of people don't like using dating apps like myself, but when there's honestly no other way for you to be able to find and meet people, it's like this kind of becomes like your last resort type of thing. And I think it's just discussing more of like the experience and the overall like understanding of the dating apps and how we can make it more accessible for people, not just blind and low vision people, but just the disability communities in general, because it's more than just making it accessible for blind people. I think it has a lot to also do with just which level of how much attention they pay to making these things accessible. And I think they just forget, like, blind people want to date and we are trying to date. And I think the reason they don't make these things so accessible is because they're like, oh, a blind person's never gonna come on Bumble, a blind person's never gonna make a Hinge profile. Like, no, this is what life is like. This is what society has come to.